All right. So today we're going to be just talking about unsolicited CMAs. So I was on a call, probably it's been there actually it's come up quite a few times, but I was on a call with Tom Ferry and he was talking about unsolicited CMAs and I was like, okay, that's curious. They do have some stats. So he actually threw out a stat that, of course, this is, just across America, that unsolicited CMAs are converting at about 11%. So, you send out 11 of them, 10 of them, typically, on average, one person is coming back with, hey, tell me more, what's up, any of that. So, um, so that's a pretty curious number considering an online lead converts, at 1 or 2%. And so I kind of, thought, oh, that's cool. So I was just doing a little homework and coming up with some ideas. And I just, of course, did some myself and actually started having some success. So I've sent out probably 75 so far. And I'm doing them, most of them are with my sphere. Because I thought, well, I'm going to start with them because they know me. But I have literally driven by a house and thought, man, I love the house. It wrote down the address and then actually did a CMA, just because I liked the area I was driving by, the house, etc. So different avenues that you can kind of take this, but certainly if you're looking for a way to say hi to someone in your sphere that owns a house, pretty cool that the idea of an unsolicited CMA. So I'm going to start with I'm kind of looking at the group here, and you guys, most of you guys are experienced, but we do have some new agents. So kind of in the group that might watch this. So I'm just going to quick. This is going to be quick. So what is the CMA? It's a comparative market analysis. So what we do is, we look at a house, the location, the size, the beds, the baths, every little piece of the house as we're going through this CMA, and then we compare it to what else is out there. What is active on the market, what is sold on the market, what's pending on the market, what's expired on the market. So really we're just taking one house and comparing it to any of the others that we know information on. And that's the key. What do we know information on? So where do we start? Sorry. First, the very first thing, we go to the MLS and just do a search: active, all pendings, sold, expired. And the first thing we start with is location, because that's our key. And then we do square footage, beds, baths. And we could run a list of every house that's available in a certain zip code that has 3 beds, 2 baths, or close to that. We can go 2 beds to 4, or to 4 beds, maybe if it's 2 bath, 1 bath to 3 baths, then we analyze from there. But 2,500 square foot, we can get every house that's been listed, sold, or is pending right now in a simple search. So once we do that, then we're actually just going to take it a step further, and we have to look at conditions, special features, and just start comparing the 2 houses. And the one key is that we sometimes, when we try to run this CMA, or certainly if we're running an unsolicited CMA, we may not have been in the house that we're trying to price. So we may not, hey, I drive by the outside, I take a picture of the exterior, hey, it looks great. It could literally be Taj Mahal inside, or it can be, like just holes in the wall and floor. We just don't know. So of course, any CMA we do is typically, like an estimated price. We're not saying this is exactly what your house is worth. We're saying, hey, this is an estimated price. So that's kind of all I wanted to do there. And I'm going to stop sharing that, and I'm actually just going to, so I'm actually going to do this unsolicited CMA in Moxie Present. So what you can actually do, oops, sorry, screen. What you could actually do is, you can do a CMA in the MLS. You can do a CMA in NARS RPR, so the Realtor's Property Resource. I mean, there are a lot of places that you can do a CMA. So it really doesn't matter where you do it. But I'm just going to show you in Moxie Present. I love the way it looks. I love the interaction it offers when we actually send it to someone. So if we're going to email it to someone, I personally would strongly suggest using Moxie Present, and I'm going to kind of show you how easy it is to set one up. If we're going to print one out and just mail it to someone, then it's maybe a little bit more open, but I do still like how Moxie Present allows us to do it super simple in the way it looks. So that's where I'm going to start. So as always, any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. Just unmute yourself anywhere along the lines. So we're going to log into Leverage. We're going to go to Agent Tools and just scroll down, and we're going to go to MoxieWorks. So obviously MoxieWorks, Moxie Engage, Moxie Present, Moxie Impress, and then your ERA.com website. So I'm going to log into MoxieWorks. And this is your dashboard. And once this loads, so at the top, you're going to see your menu across the top, and you're going to see Present is the first one there. So I'm going to click Moxie Present. And this is the sort of the home page of Moxie Present. And you will see if you have been in here and done any presentations to this point, it remembers every single one of them. So you'll just see I've done a bunch of tests and things like that. To start creating a new one, we're going to go to this kind of upper right-hand corner blue Create New. We actually have 5 presentations that we can choose from. So you'll see Seller and Property Review. Technically, I kind of see these as the same thing, but the seller says accent current or potential homes market value with a traditional CMA. You can also do a property review. So maybe more, maybe a little bit more sort of personalized, but still along the same line. Then, of course, you can do 2 different buyer ones, and then there's a generic one in there. So I'm going to just choose the seller one and hit continue. And you will see there's a default that comes up. So I can sort of analyze this and say, oh, gee, what are all the pages? I'm just going to hit continue and show you that, hey, we can adjust, we can kind of adjust that at a different point. So I'm going to just hit continue. We always have to kind of label this. So obviously you would do an address, a potential client's name, whatever you choose there. So I'm going to hit create. So right now it's sort of creating this presentation. We always have to remember that we are connected to the MLS with the entire Moxie platform. So that little blue circle that you saw, which is sometimes the internet devil, in waiting mode, that actually is Moxie Present in this case, going to the MLS. So right now we are completely connected to the MLS. So any properties that are in the MLS, so we can, when I said, hey, you can go to the MLS directly and create a CMA, you can, of course, pull all the actives and the pendings and the solds and the expireds. Well, we can actually do that in Moxie Present as well. So just knowing that we are connected. So right now, it's kind of looking for some info on a particular property, obviously, because we need what we would call a subject property. So I'm gonna enter this very simple, and sometimes simple is all we have. So if you've never, been in a house, obviously if you sold 123 Main Street to John and Sue, and they're, and you're like, hey, I want to do a CMA on that, you can think back like, okay, I was in that house. You can look at pictures, I know the general setup, but hey, if I'm driving by a house, I have no choice, but I'm going to go back. I'm going to, kind of do some research. I'm going to see the last listing, if it was ever listed, maybe sold, or I'm going to go to public record, and it's going to tell me that it's a 3-bed, 2-bath with 2,500 square foot. So sometimes we don't have a ton of info, which is fine. The idea of this unsolicited CMA is to trigger a potential homeowner to say, wow, I didn't know it was worth that. Wow, that's a crazy number. My house is worth way more than that. We want some reaction from them, in that, for them to reach out to us and say, hey, so like what is this number? Good, bad, whatever. So I'm going to keep this very simple, and you'll see that I'm going to use just a Cincinnati address and just say that it's in this zip code. So, again, if you have any of this info, believe me, you can, you want to add it, but I'm just going to, again, keep it simple here. So I'm going to just do 3-bed. I'm going to say 2 full baths and 1 half bath. And then I'm going to just say that it is 2,500 square foot. And really, I'm going to end it at that. I probably would, put, I'll just put, 0.5 acres. That's actually, just whatever info you can put in will kind of help you, obviously, kind of put together this CMA. But I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm just going to hit continue. So now what it is doing is actually going to go to the MLS, because I put in a zip code. So there's the zip code I put in. You'll see that it entered, it kind of found it, and it's thinking right now. So this is every property within the details I put in it. So you'll see I put 3-bed, 2-bath or 2.5 bath and 2,500 square foot. You'll see that it's starting to pull houses right around my square footage and within a bed or bath all the way down through. So now, obviously, almost always we have a feel for what a house is worth. So, I mean, and when I say that, we know if a house is worth 300 or 800. So, so when you look at this, obviously, because, we did a full zip code, so we could break that down easily and draw a circle around a particular neighborhood, a community, that type of thing. So seeing this 800,000 and a 322 is common in a zip code, or typically common in a zip code. So now what we're going to do is we're just going to analyze these properties, and I'm going to look at the exact bedrooms, baths, maybe break down where my property is, and get closer to it. So obviously, let me move you guys so that I can get to the. So if I expand this and I put in 123 Main Street, so let's just say I'm in this general area. Oh gosh, close that out of there. I have a clue what's going on. Sorry, apparently something just updated. Okay, so so if I'm in this area, and this is my property in Ebo Crest Acres, I'm gonna grab these 5 houses because they're closer, that type of thing. But just looking down here, I'm going to just grab. So this 322, this 324, those are houses in my analyzation that are similar to the house that I'm listing. So you'll see if I just hover over any one of them, if I look to the left, there's this plus in the picture where the picture of the house is, there's a plus. So I'm going to just click that. I'm going to click this 322, and then I'm going to click the 350. And again, I'm just doing this quick, but giving you the idea. So there are three properties that are, similar to my home. They're the ones that I'm trying to, the subject property that I'm trying to price. So I'm going to grab those three, and I'm just going to come over here and hit continue. I guess if I hit it. So, there's no right or wrong answer to how many properties should be in a CMA. I mean, if there's only literally I did a CMA and there was one property that was, that was close, and it's like, well, I mean, it's just comparing one property. So, but the fact is, you can't add properties that are $200,000 less than your value or $200,000 more unless you're willing to, edit the value. So in what we can do here is you'll see that we can take it as far as plus, add, or edit adjustment. And what this is going to do is, well, this one's got 4 bedrooms. This one's got 4 bedrooms. Like mine only has 3. So I really have to adjust for that bedroom. Like we have 1 less bedroom. So you can just do this and you can just do, and then, we always kind of have to throw a value into this, and you can talk to an appraiser. If you haven't, in a while, you can talk to an appraiser and say, hey, what's a bedroom worth these days? What's a bath worth these days? I'm just gonna say, 5,000. So, but everything kind of has a price. When an appraiser does a value on a property, they do a CMA, but then they value each bedroom, each bath, the basement, the condition, things like that. So, but I'm just going to kind of throw that out there. So we are basically valuing this property because we're comparing it to a 3-bedroom. We're going to compare it 5,000 less. And you'll see now adjusted price $395. And we can adjust, we can adjust this, and we sort of need to for bedrooms, maybe a finished basement could be a plus or a minus, a bath condition is a plus or a minus. So if the house is, like I said, needs paint and flooring, that might be a minus 20. And we're only devaluing this house because we're comparing it to 123 Main Street. So this house, it sold for 400. There's, it's worth 400 to that buyer. We're not saying it's less. We're saying it's less because we're comparing it to our 3-bedroom, 2-bath that needs $20,000 in flooring or has 1 less bedroom, that type of thing. So, kind of coming down through here and making this as close as you can. Look, sometimes you do a CMA, and I'm looking at our group here, and you guys have done CMAs. Man, there are 3, 4, 5 properties that are almost perfect. I don't really need to adjust anything. The value that comes out of it is really pretty good. But again, doesn't happen all the time. So, so making sure we're doing this and putting some thought into it, instead of just grabbing 3 properties and saying, oh, that's fine. We want a reaction out of them, but we don't want it to be like, you have no idea what you're doing. Please don't talk to me again. We want to be able to send them some info that is valuable, and then get their mind, thinking and get it triggered to some sort of reaction. So again, so we did an adjustment. I'm just going to obviously leave the other two just to make this simple. I'm going to hit continue. So estimated market value 395. So you could create a range. So we could say, you know, I don't know if we would go. So 375 to 395, you know, that type of thing. So, you know, kind of throwing one number on it is a little dangerous unless you're very confident. So I always like to do a range. You know, I can also talk about, well, if you're super motivated, you know, maybe the 375 would be much more attractive. It could probably bring, you know, potential buyers a lot quicker, that type of thing. If you're not in a huge hurry and we're not way out of the range, we could try 395 and see what the market tells us. You know, of course, you just kind of have that conversation. So I'm going to kind of get to this now. So we went through it. I just, of course, grabbed properties, made one adjustment, but the idea is this is what we get. So when we actually do a CMA, no matter where we do it, and send it to someone that did not say, I'm thinking about listing, we're thinking about downsizing, we're kind of trying to create folks that say, hey, you know, I'm thinking about, you know, you made me think about the value. I didn't know it was worth this much, things like that. So I'm actually just going to show you in my point with using Moxie Present is because this is what you would send them. So, and again, if you had to print this out, it would obviously lose some of the interaction piece. But if you were able to mail this using, let's say your database, your sphere, this is what they see. So, it looks like this on their desktop, laptop, phone, iPad. It goes to each one. It's mobile friendly. And this is what you would be able to send them. So of course, if I was doing this and truly doing it, I would have added more info, and I would highly suggest driving by the property and snapping a picture of the exterior. So when I do one, I always have a picture of the property. So it doesn't look good with just this house picture. So take the time, drive by the property. If you're driving by a property and say, I absolutely love it, get out of your car and snap it with your phone. You don't need a 35 millimeter picture. You don't need a professional, you want something here to say, hey, I'm pretty serious about what I did for you. I'm not just winging this. And of course it would have more info. And now I get to the comparison. So this is our subject property, the property we're doing the CMA for. Here are the three comparables, and you'll see when they're looking at this, when I highlight or just hover over Jeffrey Court, you'll see the price at the bottom, $395, highlights. When I go to the next one, $325 on the left-hand side is highlighted. And then, of course, Plainfield on the right, $322. So, it's just super interactive. This map, is interactive. They while they're looking at this report, this is if I do this from the MLS, if I do this from RPR, it's a PDF report. There's no interaction whatsoever. Well, here I can move the map around. I can hit satellite right while I'm looking at the report you send them, and now it looks like this. So when I scroll in to my 395 or any of them, I get to see exactly where what the neighborhood looks like. I'm going to just do this real quick just so you guys can see. So, look, like that is part of your CMA when you do it in Moxie Present. They can actually get right down to it. Oh, and I don't know. You're like, oh, gee, they have a pool in the backyard. Do they have kids? Or, what's this neighbor look like? Does he take care of his house? I mean, there's a lot there that you can, sort of analyze by having, a picture like this. Next page. is just listing overview. So again, we could send them, hey, here's the full listing for Jeffrey Court. Here's the full listing. Well, now it's clickable. So if I click this, I get, oh, there's where the property is. Here's the entire listing. I get all the pictures. So I can look at it and go, okay, yeah, I mean, that's comparable to my house. My house is better. I like this room, but whatever, they're just analyzing it. So that's another interactive page. And then this side-by-side comparison. So again, we're page after page, we're kind of just like, here's more info about that. But I like this one because these 4 properties, the subject property and 3 comparables, stay static. And when I say that, when I'm scrolling down through the info, I can always tell which property is 26. I don't have to scroll back to the top or look back to the top for the address. I know Jeffrey Court is 2694. I'm 2500. There's 20, so it's just kind of cool. Here's the solds and the values and things like that. So all the way down through. So again, super interactive for the person that you're sending this to. So emailing this will not only get them hopefully triggered to ask questions, but we'll start easily showing that you're that you use a great tool, that you're a market expert. We're doing a lot with with using Moxie Present. Again, just the status comparisons, home averages, pricing, days on market, and then last page is your value. So in where, kind of where you came up with it. And then you can do a net proceeds page. And then of course your contact page in the end. So again, kind of went through that quick, but the whole idea is doing a CMA for someone that did not ask for one. And so again, I said I've done 75. It's never a home run right off the bat. But you never know. I have had a lot of folks thank me. So literally just I emailed most. Some I did just print in mail because I just didn't have an email address. I've not gotten any written responses back. But I have gotten texts that said, thank you so much for sending that. It was great. And actually, between this and using HomeBot, I've had 2 sellers this year, or 2 clients reach out, and both of them said, is this right? And it was the value that was put on their property. And I said, well, that I did that a little bit ago. Let me relook at things. Can I see the property? Just kind of went through the process, and ended up with 2 listings, and they both sold. One was priced right on, and the other, the value I sent out was probably 70 grand over. So I was like, well, that wasn't quite right. This is kind of where we are now. And they were still like, okay, well, it's time. So, so the idea is triggering folks, just doing this for almost no cost. If you email it, 0 cost. If you're going to print it out and mail it, yes, it's $1 or $1.50, whatever, with print and stuff like that. But you're going to be able to remind someone or tell someone, if it's someone new, that you're a real estate agent. Remember, I'm a real estate agent. Here's a value of your house. You're gonna be a market expert. So if you do this once, if you do it, maybe every 6 months, especially if you're just emailing them. One thing that I'm gonna tell you is, if you do 123 Main Street in Moxie Present, and the info's in there, you added 3 beds, 2 baths, square footage, the school, if you added some information in there about 123 Main Street, if you go to Moxie Present 6 months from now and click on 123 Main Street, Moxie Present's going to go to the MLS and pull up all new comps. And all you got to do is select new comps and you can send out a new CMA. So when it will remember you did 123 Main Street, and when you click on it, it will refresh all the data and pull up all the new listings that are comparable, grab 3 or 4, whichever ones, and send it. So you do not have to start from scratch. So if you think about it, doing it that way, and you can print it out from the MLS, or you can print it out from Present or email it, and all you have to do is open it up, refresh it, grab the 3 new active listings and 3 solds that have happened in the last 6 months. You can, do it much easier. You're not going to have to start from scratch. 123 Main Street, it's a 3-bed, 2-bath, 2,500. You don't have to enter that info because it's going to remember it. So strongly suggest. So look, even if they don't say anything, they're going to love that they got something that says, hey, this is what your home is estimated to be valued worth, to be valued. They're going to love it, even if they don't say anything. Well, you send 2, you send a third, you follow it up with, hey, if you do have their cell number or even a handwritten note, hey, just checking, hope that, CMA was of value to you. I know you're probably not even looking, but it's just something that I offer my clients. You become the market expert. So the second time, the third, you are giving them value. So strongly, suggest it's not a one-time thing. I could do a CMA for every house in a zip code. But if I send one CMA if I talk to them once and they've never met me, it really, unless I catch them at the ultimate day or they're thinking in that next week, oh gosh, maybe it is time. It's highly likely that they're going to think of me as like their guy, just because I send them one thing. So on average, we need to contact someone 11 times that doesn't know us before they learn to trust us and things. So that's a piece to think about. So I wouldn't suggest just canvassing folks, but if you know them, if they know you, if they know of you. So I see Rebecca's on here from Fort Myers. She is farming her a community. So if she followed it up with some CMAs, it's not the first time they've seen her. It's not so they're familiar with her. Or if if you wanted to do it in your neighborhood or that type of thing. But I will stress, doing this for your sphere, this is an awesome thing to send your family and friends, because it's like, we know that we're like, man, I don't want my family and friends to get annoyed that I'm always talking about real estate. So I really just don't do it. I don't tell my family and friends I'm in real estate, or they kind of, of course they know, but I don't remind them. I don't say, hey, you should use me as your agent or refer me out. But sending them values of their home, it's like, what, who wouldn't want that? Like I'm looking, we all own homes. Like, who wouldn't want, something that says, hey, this is the value of your home, whether you're looking to do something or not, or you're going to be in your house another 20 years. I'm just sending it to you. So just kind of thinking along those lines, the idea of triggering something. So that's what Tom Ferry said is triggering a reaction. And hopefully, they respond. It would be, of course, ideal if, if they think of us when they are ready to do something, or we catch them at the right time, and the value we threw out, or because we just even did it, they're like, oh my gosh, we've been thinking about it. We never know when that's going to happen. So, but if we don't do anything, we may not know. So that is kind of the talk of it. So hopefully you guys got some value in that. I know, and I'm a little passionate about this one. So so I end up chatting about it a lot, but I'm going to pause. Anybody have any questions? Is by chance anyone doing, doing or have done an unsolicited CMA recently?
I have not.
Okay. Do
I
you
have, we've been sending, we have, um, these postcards and, we've been sending them out saying we would like to do an equity review for them,
okay.
which is just another name for that.
Yeah,
Just because I think sometimes they get overloaded with the name CMA. So, in that training Jeremy gave us, I don't know, a couple weeks ago, that got brought up, and I thought that was a good name for it. So,
yeah, yeah. And obviously, you can, you can label this or call it whatever. So if if you emailed this and then did an email note with it, or if you printed it out and did a little handwritten note and called it, you're right, called it got just totally left the CMA off of it and called it a market review or a price analysis or an equity review or, things like that. Yeah, absolutely. So I do like the idea of you know either asking them or getting them. So maybe the idea is, maybe send a few of them in an unsolicited equity review and see if that triggers them. I appreciate that, Christina.
Yeah, Wayne, I do a few of these. I haven't done it the 75 or like you have, but and a few of my sphere that I know they've had life changes which might um, necessitate a move. And I use Cloud CMA, and they have this thing called a home beat, which is similar to what you're doing here in unsolicited CMA. But one thing that I do when, as far as doing the CMA, calling it comparative market analysis, that's like a range and overview, a very general thing. Like you said, you had one that was $70,000 different. When it comes time to talk to them about pricing, I change it from comparative market analysis to competitive market analysis because when they get ready to put it on the market, they have to realize they're competing with other properties on the market. Not just, they don't want buyers to compare theirs and go buy something else. They're competing. So I call it a competitive market analysis when going to list.
Love it. Love it. Yeah. And, like I say, I've done 75, that's since the beginning of the year. So it's not like it's the only thing I'm doing, but, lately I've been a fan of just, I don't need to do 75 today where I'm going to just lock myself, but, I want to do at least 5 a week. I want to do 2 a week or 10 a week, whatever that is. So it's not like I need to do all at once, but, I like the response that you can get from it. Of course, the idea that, they might just be ready. It might hit them at the right time. But every time we do something like this, first of all, we know the market better. We certainly look, like the market expert, and especially if they get more than one, or if they get a second one from us, anything we send them that starts showing value and things like that, we just appear more and more like the market expert, and that's really where we need to be nowadays. So with just the number of agents, with the market that's changed, the industry that's changing as a whole, just us being a market expert, will help us. So anytime we can do these. So I love looking at the MLS. I'm sure, you guys do as well. I like to, see what's happening. And obviously every time you do, it helps you learn more. So. Awesome. Well, thank you guys so much. Anybody have any questions? Do you want, anything that we could add to it? Any info? I'm just going to pause for a minute. But otherwise, that is what I, wanted to show you. Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for joining, Jim. But yeah, please, if anybody has any questions or you know, if you want to start, you know, doing them and, you know, just want, you know, just a little bit of guidance, obviously your, you know, your manager or whatever, but, you know, definitely don't hesitate to reach out and, happy to help. So any last minute questions?
Thanks, Wayne.
No, absolutely. Thank you guys so much. Have a great day and, let's go sell something.
Yeah, I will say the few that I've done of these, the people have responded, like you said, that they did like the report. They appreciated me sending that out, and it just kind of keeps them updated on what's going on in their neighborhood. So,
Yeah, love it, love it. Thanks, Greg. Appreciate that.
See ya.
All right. Take care, everyone. Thank you.